In this episode today, I'm sharing an interview with you where I have been guest and I have been interviewed by Nicky there, since I've been invited by Nicky to come up in her podcast, Nicky Dare Radio. So I wish you lots of fun listening to this episode. And in this episode, we are going to talk about a lot about learnings to be an entrepreneur, team management, team building, like from transforming to being a solopreneur to an entrepreneur and having an own company. But we will also go through learnings about during times through Corona and how we dealt with it and all the positive effects we had due to being a digital business and what the benefits are of being a digital business, and also lots of other business related things, especially for us as women. So wishing you lots of fun with the interview where I've been interviewed by Nicky, and enjoy listening.
So first off, how are your families? I think last time we spoke, I had you on my show. You were in Malta Island, right?
Yes, yeah. So last time, yeah, that's right. When we spoke, my boyfriend and me, we were still living in Malta. And for those who don't know what or where Malta is a really tiny rock in the middle of the Mediterranean, and it's between Italy and Africa, kind of right in the middle there. But it's a country on itself, and yeah, so now when we do this interview today, I'm not in Malta anymore, but we moved from Malta to Portugal. And now today we are already like nearly a year in Portugal. So it's like we moved from July and then we officially moved here in September, still having Malta as a like second residency, but we are completely switching over to Portugal.
But either way, on those spaces, you are having a great time, sounds like, and you're continuing your passion and purpose in, what you do, and, healing others. And like I said in my intro, that you are really actually just kicking ass and helping others to get their shit done, which I really need at this time right now. That we all can use those things, right? So how are you taking this unprecedented pandemic disaster to your home front and your business in staying safe and your business in staying sustainable during the pandemic?
Yeah, so well, since I have two businesses and both are online, luckily for me, there was no big problem or no big change, except that actually we even doubled and tripled our sales because of COVID. So actually for us, as bad as it might sound, for our income, it was amazing. So it was even like, it went off totally crazy because so many people suddenly realized, oh my God, I have an offline business. I don't know how to survive. I need to move quickly online and see how I can still earn money and how I can still reach people. So for us, like business-wise, it was, amazing from what we earned, what our income was and still is. On the other hand, it was really stressful as well because at the time when it all started, we suddenly got like 3 times the amount of clients daily. So we went from like 5 to 10 or 15 clients daily to 3 times the amount daily, just because of COVID, because like so many noticed they need to switch off online. And we actually even hired also like 2 new employees because like we had so much stuff to do. And now after kind of everything is already a bit more chilled and relaxed, we had the time to search for new employees and get more things done and expand our business even more. And from the other side, like from the personal side, what we really love to do is we really love to support the small businesses. So we went many times we went to local coffee shops and restaurants over here to support them. So since we weren't allowed to eat inside or near the restaurant, we ordered a lot of takeaway to really support them and help them get through these times. And also what I love to do is like during this time to support others so they stay healthy and fit and they still take care of themselves. Myself, I started offering free aerial yoga classes online. So all these yoga and aerial yoga people, they were still able to do a workout at home, because what I know from working at home, many people, they get stuck in work too much. So they stop taking care of themselves because they are just sitting on the computer the whole time. And you
all the time glued, screen time suddenly went skyrocketed, it's like you gotta have a limit. They have a limit how many hours, Me, I'm cutting down minutes, but go ahead.
So that's like what I helped them with. Like I had a fixed schedule, so I ran like 2 classes first and then later on only 1. And it was completely for free to help them really like still take care of themselves and really still stay healthy. And also I launched some free online coaching calls. Usually I don't do them, but then I did them just to support others and have them to get a clear structure, because so many business owners, whether they're new or whether they are already a few years in business, they don't have any structures at all. So they just wake up, they maybe drink a coffee, and then they start hustling and being busy all the day. And I'm always like, oh my God, I mean, seriously, you started your own business or your own company to have more freedom, and then you end up sitting in front of the computer like 24 hours. Why? I mean, so that's what I also help them with, to like really be efficient, more productive, and also like have a clear routine to have more freedom in life. So that's also what I did. And I really love to support those people, especially what I noticed since I'm in a lot like in the spiritual industry. So many were like totally panicking, and they were so out of work because most of them, they still work offline. And I find like not only spiritual coaches or yoga trainers or like literally everyone, I think more people should start thinking about going online, because it's not only that it's like gives you more freedom and saves you a lot of time, and you can reach more people to help them and at the same earn more money, but it's also about being sustainable, because I think like what's amazing, what we could see is with all these cars suddenly not moving anymore, with so much less traffic, the earth could finally breathe again. So I really hope that many companies, they finally started to notice that people can actually also work from home in their home office. And so it saves a lot of pollution, because there won't be any traffic jams anymore if like everyone who could work online would start working online. So I think that would create a really big shift, and not only make employees more happy and help the company and being more efficient, because like a happy employee working from home will be more efficient for sure, but also about like being more sustainable and reducing traffic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we understand, how businesses should shift now to a different structure. Basically, that's what you're saying, right? Infrastructure is going to be different. What do you see in the foreseen future, if that's the challenges that, working from home, let's say, employees, like you said, no pollution, no traffic, and then less stress in commuting, if they are commuting. Most of us do commute. So what are the new challenges that we may face, working from home, let's say, and how are we going to deal with that?
Yeah, so I think like there are different challenges, like depending whether you are actually a business owner and a company leader, or whether you are an employee. So, well, I'm a company owner together with my boyfriend since we founded the company, and we have a business partner. We run the company together. So for us, like For us, actually, to be honest, it doesn't bring any challenges at all because we have always been kind of working from home and we really trust our team. So I think the biggest issue with
there's no shifting on the way you do business because you've already had that set platform already, right?
yes,
The foundation, the base, right?
yeah, exactly.
Those business owners that already have an online platform, they're kind of safe right now, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so like I think like the biggest challenges, like if you are a company owner and you are not having your employees working from home, or you haven't have had them working there and now suddenly you have, I think like one of the biggest issues is it's always like a trust issue, because what I noticed is when I spoke to people, usually like bosses, they have a problem of trusting their employees that they will still do the work and not just chill out in the garden or something like that. So
Right. An ability maybe on the time.
yeah, so it's
So
like what I
like reporting back to you what they've done that day, saying that, you know, I've done this. So assigning things individually, assigning the items of task that you expect them to do that day, perhaps, right? Help.
Yeah, so for me, like what I really recommend, like company owners who manage the company and lead the company, is like really to trust the employees more, because like I think the trust is the biggest thing you should give to an employee. And if you set clear goals and an employee isn't able to manage them, you can always ask them why, because maybe something is missing in the communication. And if it's really because of the employee being lazy, well, you would notice, and then you can still think about leading the next steps. So like the trust thing is like really important, I think. And I'm really sure so many company owners noticed that many employees were more efficient just because they were more happy working from home and no one is able to distract you, because like in offices, the phone rings, then other employees are chatting in the background, so you are easily distracted. And from home, you are like in your peaceful space, so usually you are way more productive. And it also helps like employees to be more flexible, because let's say you work on a big project and then you need a break. I mean, if you work from home, you can just take a break and you come back with a fresh mind, and then it works well better, instead of forcing yourself. And if you are in an office space, you always feel bad if you wouldn't be working. So it's kind of less productive, I think, than actually working from home. And if you are an employee, probably the biggest struggles are probably as an employee that you are suddenly on your own. If you are an introvert like me, probably you don't mind at all, because you can still connect with Zoom or with Skype calls.
Exactly. I know the feeling. So you're not micromanaging an employee basically because they're on their own, and then they have to learn how to set their priorities in their daily daily task priorities, right? That's one of the things probably now a lot of the employers, I should say, or the leaders or team members, leaders should, start thinking about that, how to develop a system or develop a team, working from home kind of thing. It should be understand through the communication, clear communication, and things like that. Because, like I said, it's a trust and rapport and accountability when it comes to this kind of thing, relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, like the structures are also really important. So I find it really important to use the right tools to also like be on track and be able to manage everything and have like really clear structures, not only in how you handle things, but also in how you like show and build up things. So it's also about like getting the right tools to communicate with the team and also to set clear goals and like hold everything online instead of on paper. So for example, what we use in our team, we use a lot of like many different tools, but for example, what we use like usually every day, it's Slack to communicate with each other if it's just a quick question or something short. And we also use a Confluence. So it's a management tool where you put in everything, like all the tasks, where you can assign tickets, like different jobs for everyone. You can set deadlines in there. You can also set the priority, like is it a high priority? When is the due date? And all these things. So I think like working with really good tools that help you to be productive and have a clear structure is really important. And also it's really important like to have different schedules running, like different timetables for employees, because some they might be able to work like pretty much whenever they want. So maybe they can sleep in and then work later on the day. But maybe some they would need to have fixed schedules. For example, since we have a platform, we have our support team working on fixed hours, because like people expect to respond. So if they have a question, there needs to be someone there answering. But if it's, let's say, someone working on social media, or me working in my business as a coach, I can pretty much show up whenever I want. So I can create my own schedule. And I really love the flexibility about it. So you don't have to like have fixed work hours for certain people. So it's a bit more flexible. Well, as long as you know you can trust them, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I forget, what are the tools that you mentioned earlier that has worked for you?
Yeah, so what we are using every day, it's Confluence, and also it's Slack. Well, Slack is pretty common because you have all these different channels in there for different teams. And then also you can communicate, for example, with each other, like only one person or in a group. And what we also have like different channels. So for example, we have a channel only for the founders and the owners of the company, then one for the management, like the team management and all these different things. And well, of course, also, well, what we use also, since we have a platform, we also have a ticket system, and it's really important. You need a ticket system because otherwise you crazy.
Support system, yeah. Is that your support system where people, you know, can let's say we have a time difference, obviously, right? And I'm online and I need to ask you something. I usually see a chat online. Is that something that you're talking about, like a ticket system, support system?
Yeah, so like there are two options. Like we have actually like a chat tool, but we are not online in the chat, never, except if we launch something big. So if you launch something like a new product or a new theme or whatever, then we go online in the chat to really answer fast, like in minutes or seconds. And if we are like not launching anything, we have the chat open so people can message us, but it goes automatically into our ticket system. So it's like a real system. Like a chat is not a system for me. So like, for example, Freshdesk, it's what we use. There are many different ticket systems. So whenever a client asks us something, because they have a question about our tool, then they just answer and send a ticket to our ticket system, and then our support team handles it.
Okay, great. Yeah. Before I forget, I want to ask you about your coaching business, because that's really, you know, what's really, like you said, in high demand right now. With a lot of people are looking for answers and looking for mentoring, I should say, and coaching. To navigate, you know, what they don't have, what can be done in their lives. So walk with us with that. Is that something that you've done in the past already and been successful? And are you improvising that right now because of, you know, the pandemic? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So for those, well, probably most of you who are listening, you don't know me. So. I'm owning like two businesses. So one is a company I founded with my partner, and we have an online platform, which is like, for those who don't know it, it's like a membership tool, like an online school tool, like similar to Kajabi or Teachable, but it's way more easy.
Right.
And our support is way cooler. And my coaching business, well, it shifted a bit. So I started originally with my coaching business in 2014, when I was in photo editing. So I first showed other people how to edit their photos professionally for the beauty and fashion industry. So that's how I started. And then I noticed that many people, they are really talented, but what's lacking is the mindset and the business skills. And then I started more working on that and teaching that before I kind of decided that the photo editing industry wasn't for me, because it was totally unfulfilling for me, because it was too superficial for me. I wanted something deeper, and I wanted to help people way more instead of only making images more pretty. So I was looking for something deeper. And then I took half a year of a break and kind of rediscovered what I really wanted in life. And I went through a yoga journey, and I also started being a mindfulness therapist. So I really dived into all the spiritual work, and that's also where we started our company. So nowadays, until a couple of months ago, I was still teaching in the spiritual business field to help others start and grow their online business. But then I decided I'm not this person anymore, because I'm not at the point anymore where I'm like a single person trying to handle a business as a solopreneur. But today I'm an entrepreneur having my own company with employees. So I decided to make a shift and help other solopreneurs who are really busy, who already built a successful business, to stop hustling and stop being busy all the time, and instead shifting from solopreneur to an entrepreneur. And that's also how they are able to increase their income and also the impact and their freedom. So that's what I do today.
That's a very good point, though, Lisa. I want to interject you with that. What you said, shifting the mindset and shifting just, by being so busy, picking up all of this task and then picking up all of this, because that's what, in a chaotic world, isn't that what most of us would tend to do? We're saying that, okay, let's keep it busy, but there's really nothing on, results, because that's what we need to do, I guess, right? That's what we need to do, is to, if you're staying busy, then, what is the result? So is it result oriented? That's what you do as a life coach, right?
Yeah, that's just one of the parts. So what I find really important and crucial, like you mentioned, is if you constantly keep yourself busy and you don't have a break and you don't start taking care of yourself, there's going to be a point, I'm sure, and I can I can promise you are going to crash in burnout or in frustration. So maybe even as successful as you are, maybe now, if you don't take a break and you really start to breathe and think what you really want in life and why you are doing this all for, then maybe in a few years or a month, you are going to everything's going to crash, and you are going to start wondering, what am I really doing here? And why am I doing this? Right. So you start being really unhappy. So it's really important to do the inner work and really start working more on our mindset and also on spiritual work. So really looking inside. As I always like to say, look inside to shine outside, because if you don't do the inner work, then there's no progress for sure. And you constantly start keeping yourself busy without actually knowing what you are chasing after. So you always feel like there's something missing in life. You always need to, for example, hit the next sales target or the next 100,000 of followers or whatever, but somehow you don't feel truly fulfilled.
Absolutely. I think I echo that one. Really on point there. Talking about burnout and everything, I mean, I use the analogy of like a car, you drive the car down to the gutter. I'm in the car, need to stop, need to take a break, and then need to tune up, need to, have an upgraded, just like computer also, reboot, restart, hibernate a little bit. So I've been seeing this in the last 3 months as well. Now I've been talking to a few folks as well. We need to avoid that because one, that, it's completely self-sabotaging, right? You have to have the well-rounded. You gotta have to take time to kind of take a walk. And I was just reading this yesterday also. It's like, hey, I worked so hard. This gentleman was voicing his opinion. He has worked so hard. He has gotten so many followers on LinkedIn, let's say, and then, on social media. And, I've gone so far, but now I'm at the point where I just need to breathe. It is okay to take a break. It is okay to, to breathe. It is okay to walk away for a while from the world can wait. The world can wait, but your health cannot wait, right? Your mental state cannot wait. So you gotta have to have that, well-rounded, balanced life, I should say, right? And that's where you come in, pretty much. Work with the boss babes, turning their purpose and passion into results, what they want, profitable businesses, right?
Yes, like I really love like helping them who are already like making lots of money to really find out why they're really doing it, to really stop chasing, and also to finally trust that they can, for example, outsource work. Because if you are constantly trying to solve everything, let's say with virtual assistants or on your own, it's what's constantly keeping you busy, because you need to manage and do everything. And that's where a great team comes in. So what I also noticed is like many solopreneurs and boss babes, they are like really good at what they do, but they find it also hard to take a break because they feel they need to manage everything, because they are afraid to maybe ask for help or hire a new employee, because like they're kind of lost and they don't know how to do that. So like that's also like where I come in. And what I also noticed, like is during the pandemic, for example, it's like, I think there were like two different people, kind of like one, the person who already did the spiritual work and who already looked inside and who's like constantly working on their mindset, taking care of themselves and stuff. So there was like, they were pretty stable. For them, everything was fine. They really enjoyed the time where things maybe went slower. For example, like a great yoga teacher I know, she has an offline business and she really enjoyed the time offline, being on her own, and like new stuff was unfolding for her. So it was like a big shift for her and she was able to grow. And then the others who have always been like chasing after stuff and never took care of themselves and didn't really have the time before to look inside, I think for them it was really a tough time, or it still is, because like suddenly you're on your own and everything is like off. Like maybe if you had an online business, suddenly you won't have clients anymore. So you are alone, and so many thoughts come in. So you might be afraid, you might start panicking, and that's also where like a good mindset work and spiritual work comes in. So to really keep you grounded, so as crazy as it gets, you still like have the control over your thoughts and you stay calm instead of like freaking out and starting.
So how important is having a mentor on your side through navigating through this, guiding you through these challenges and setbacks?
That's a great question. Like, I always find it really important to have a mentor and a coach. I could say for everyone, even if you are not self-employed, or if you're not a coach, or if you're not an entrepreneur, but also like pretty much for everyone. But I think especially if you are an entrepreneur and a coach or anything related to working with people, because like we can always maybe achieve things on our own, but it takes way longer. So like if we ask for help and if we work with a coach, the shift and the process will be so much faster compared to when we would try to do everything on ourselves. And also like what a coach does is not only guiding you and asking the right questions, but also like really empowering and supporting you. So like as an entrepreneur, you always maybe have a bad day or something not working, and you need to figure out a way. And then it's where the coach comes in, who supports you and keeps you motivated, and also like helps you to see it from a different angle. Because what I always see is I'm really amazing at supporting and guiding others, and then maybe at myself I kind of hit a block, and then that's where a coach comes in. So it's like going over obstacles and all these things, it's way easier with a coach. And it's so funny you are asking this, because like the last couple of days I have also been writing about it. And what I also always like to say to people, if you are a coach or if you are becoming a coach and you don't invest yourself in your own mentor or coach, then how do you expect others to pay you as a coach? And you never had the feeling of how it feels like, and like, yeah, like how do you expect someone? I mean, even as a, let's say, restaurant owner, most probably there was a point in life where you ordered something from a restaurant. So you need to kind of get the feeling and also know how it works in the industry and start investing in yourself to not only reach the next level, but also to be able to help and support people in a way, and also to grow.
Right. So you gotta have to experience it yourself before even you do that. And just like the same concept of, you gotta save yourself before you can save others around you, or love yourself before you can love others around you.
Yes.
Respect yourself before you can respect others around you. And so everything comes sticking inwards and everything. I think that's great. Another question that I was going to ask you is that how would you prepare yourself if this is something that happened again next time, a disaster, let's say, something that's setback or unprecedented something going on? I don't know. I mean, what is the world needing right now? An alien come over, right, and land in our Earth or something. I don't know. And say, hey, you guys are fucked up.
Yeah, probably if they would be aliens, I would run there and greet them or something.
Right, exactly. It's like, you guys are fucked up. Yeah.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Well, like, I think, yeah, it's like, I think you never know what might happen. So like, first of all, I think it's about not constantly worrying about stuff that could happen, because it might never happen. So more like thinking about what amazing things could happen instead of what bad things could happen. Right. And also like really working on self-care. So really take care of yourself, start implementing, for example, meditations, or if you are not a person who likes them, maybe you also want to just start at least taking a walk on your own to really take some time off and take care of yourself. And also what we, for example, do with our company, we have always savings of at least 3 months to really sustain our company for at least 3 months, like the whole team. So it's like also like having a backup on your bank account, or if you don't have it on your bank account, maybe in other assets. That's, I think, really important.
So it's a financial preparedness as well, having your, mentally and, physically, emotionally ready if this is something to happen again. A lot of people had lack of doing so. Now the whole world now is in this disaster survival mode, and they go, oh gosh, what's going to happen next? So this is an experience, just like anything else that we have in life. When we have experienced something so turbulent, something so chaotic, we look back and then we go, we're going to become prepared this time. This is something that, perhaps if it's next time, but not being paranoid about it, like you said, right? Just enjoy yourself and try to make the best of it. And we choose to react and respond in a positive mindset and make the best of it. But yeah, the financial preparedness is a must if you're a business owner. And then of course start thinking about how can we protect this if this to happen, something like this to happen again next time. I think that's self-reliancy. I think I've said this before. Self-reliancy is really truly a base of your mindset to stay resilient, in what you do, what you have, both in your personal home front and also in your business, to in order to achieve that sustainability in life.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Like I loved everything you said. So, like I think the most important part is always the mindset, because like that's where everything started. I mean, if you always constantly think about stuff that could happen, like worrying about things, it might even happen because you're kind of attracting it. Because whenever you feel like, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that, that's also where the energy gets lower. And then of course you might do like mistakes and stuff might go wrong. And it's where you just need to kind of understand and learn that you have the power to control your own thoughts, and that you can shift them, and that every thought or emotion that comes in, it's okay, because I mean, we are humans, we always have maybe a bad day, or some thoughts where we feel maybe like I'm not good enough or something like that. But then it's also like when mindset work starts and comes in, the more you do the work in mindset, and for example meditations, and also like starting to think differently, it's like starting to get easier to overcome all these like bad days you might have. So
Right.
yeah, so it's going to be way more easy, and you start to build up, like you said, you start to build up resilience and really like be calm in your own body and love yourself. And if you start loving yourself, I think that's the most important shift when this happens, because then you're also able to empower others. Because if you are unhappy yourself, or if you feel drowned of energy yourself, I mean, how do you want to support others like as best as you can? And also it's only a question of how long you would be able doing it before you would be totally like knocked out. So really putting yourself, like your self-care first, it's really important. And also, like you said before, it's always okay to take a step back and like do the inner work and just step back. And even if you think like, oh my God, what do other people think of me? I mean,
Yeah.
the work will still continue. So it's no big deal. I mean, I have been off for half a year when I switched from my retouching business to the other business. And recently, when we moved from Portugal to here, I've been offline for half a year again. And I mean, I'm still here. The business is still here, even better than before. And
Yeah. Come on, you're surrounded by beautiful nature, all right? So you can't say anything. We're from the city people, suburban people who live in the city, even though that we're all grounded right now behind the closed doors in our home front space, small little space we call home, right? But yeah, I think with that said, though, I think the nature, the outdoors where you reside, where you live, also helps a lot, because that's been my part of the journey in my personal development growth. Also, being close to the nature and outdoors is a great support system, by the way, where you go out there and you find yourself free, and you can be able to open up. As you said earlier, you gotta have to have that self-care. Not necessarily like, well, I'm gonna go hiking and I'm gonna be like dressed up and everything. You don't have to do all of that. You can just get out there, just go out and enjoy yourself, be free, open your mind, open your heart, and close to nature. Because I'm an outdoor enthusiast, I have to be out in the outdoor. Now I've been cooped in here for 3 months now, since March 11th to be exact, so over 3 months. So am I going crazy a little bit? Yeah, I try not to. I try to stay safe and sane, and I try to pick up, modify those surroundings, the environment, trying to modify how I can improve that, not necessarily go out and hiking to Mount Whitney or go to the ocean, go fishing, or go be on the ocean front, because we're not allowed, right? Things like that. So backyard is okay. Doing kickboxing in the backyard is okay. So I try to improve that. So what are your thoughts of folks right now that really going back crazy, not having this sort of just where you live? I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful. I mean, you're close to nature all the time by the ocean. I envy you for that. What are your thoughts on that? Some of the things that we could do. I mean, physically, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah, so like, I think first of all, you can always do like self-care. Like even if you might live in a city, you can always find some space. Like even you could also create your own beautiful space in your apartment or in your home, on your balcony, or if you have, yeah. Or if you have like the chance to go outside, even in a park or something like that. And maybe you also want to start as soon as you can to do some weekend trips in nature, if you also love being in nature, because I always find where I get most inspiration from and where I feel like most free and like really inspired, it's when I'm outside. So like the best thoughts always come when I'm outside. Maybe if you are not really a person who loves being outside, which I would doubt, because like I think like pretty much everyone loves to be outside at some point. You can still like do a lot of stuff at home, like whether it's exercising, if you like exercising, maybe you like to draw beautiful paintings or just spend more time with your family. So there's all these things. And even if it's just like sitting down on your sofa, listening to some music, that will also do. And what I find like really important to know is that you always have the power to decide if you want to move. I mean, if you are living in a city and you love being close to nature, it's up to you to maybe like move to another place. So you can always decide where you live. I mean, I have been living in a city myself when we were in Germany, and I didn't like it at all. So we moved to Malta, and when it started developing more and more, and it got more busy, and all of this construction stuff went crazy. There were times when they woke us up with a construction noise at 4:30 in the morning, and I went crazy. So we decided, okay, so like there's too much stuff going on, like too much noise, too much pollution, and less spaces in nature. We decided to move. So I think like you can always decide to like, first of all, do self-care at home. And also if you want to be close to nature, maybe think about moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, nature and being in the outdoors is really a great support system for me personally. And it has helped me, in so many ways, healing and things like that, just in personal development overall. I found also just being in the backyard, being close to the squirrels and the birds chirping, things like that. I think all of us have to make that choice, how to take care of ourselves in the home front, by choosing and maintaining your positive. Start with the mindset, obviously, like you said. And then, physically, and then, embracing the self-awareness into yourselves, and then stick within and inwards and everything. All right. So, so we touched base already on your business and everything like that. One last question, a couple questions. What are the biggest challenge still, if you have? I think you answered it already before, that there's nearly not much. But as a woman, I threw this question before, I think, to you. As a woman entrepreneur, and online and coaching, what are your struggles? Are there any struggles out there when you're dealing with clients?
Yeah, well, the struggles as a woman entrepreneur. Well, myself, I'm really a person who always just did whatever I wanted to do, and I never really let anyone like hold me back because maybe I'm a woman or I'm blonde or whatever.
It sounds like
So yeah.
that. I'm just giving her 2 thumbs up, just so you know. 2 thumbs up.
So yeah, I think it's like super important to know that, I mean, you are your own boss and you can decide whether people are able to like hold you back or drag you down. And for example, what I experienced when we have been living in Malta, what I really didn't like was how people treated or valued women, because in Malta, most of the time, women are still good for staying at home, taking care of the children, and some of them, they love buying pretty stuff then, like whatever, like clothes or making their nails look nice and stuff. But most of them, they don't really start their own business, or if they have one, they are like, most of them people are single or they are like without children. So maybe they have a beauty salon or a fashion store. And unfortunately, I know only a few women entrepreneurs who have children or no children and love what they do and still have a husband. So like, I really didn't like how they expected a woman to be. So that this was like still this old world kind of, where a woman was supposed to stay at home, take care of the children, and the husband brings in the money. And there were a few situations where I was not respected because, like, for example, men usually, when it was around business or when it was around, for example, even doing contracts, most of the time the men spoke to my boyfriend. And I was standing right next to them.
Right.
I was like, come on, seriously?
Not him. I'm signing the contract. I have the final say. Hello.
And yeah, so like, in like even other stuff, I mean, I've always been like a person who always tried to be like bring awareness into bring justice in. And for me, like, everyone should be treated equally, whether it's a dog or a woman or a man or what color or whatever. And like, there were a few situations in Malta where I kind of like stepped up, and especially usually men didn't like it. And I really didn't like this over there, and I really feel bad and feel sorry for so many women who like suffer from it and don't have the courage to like just step up.
Yeah, just speak up and things, right?
Yes. So yeah, so I mean, like, with all this stuff over there, what I experienced, and even how I experienced the difference in being a woman and a foreigner, we decided, okay, well, there are some weird things. I mean, okay, we could have stayed there to maybe change stuff, but it wouldn't have been done in just one generation. You would need to like start with teaching children and helping them to think more sustainable, to treat people equally, and all these things. And also, like, with all the stuff going on there about money, like, money is more important than protecting nature and protecting the beautiful island. So we're like, okay, maybe it's time to let go and move. And well, now we are in Portugal, where people are really open-minded and friendly and really helpful, and they love speaking to you, even if you don't speak Portuguese or maybe just a few words. And they are still really open and helpful, and it's like a really big difference. So like, I think like challenges really as a women entrepreneur, sometimes it's working with men. I mean, I won't say that all men are like that, but I have been facing this. And I think it's important to know that you can, I mean, you know what, you don't have to work with these people, just ignore them. let them do whatever they want to do. And when they are at a certain time, maybe they will change. But if you constantly kind of run against the wall when you try to like maybe shift their mind, you don't have to stay there, and it's their own job to work on themselves. And maybe like, I mean, they will change their mind maybe in their own time. So you can decide as a women entrepreneur to just step up and I think like do whatever you want.
Yeah, how to handle it professionally, you know, because you cannot change this mentality or their attitude, their behavior. Only we can create the environment for them to feel that way, or you know. But I mean, it's a two-way street. So if it's a one-way, only a monologue, then it's not your problem. I mean, you know, it's what I'm trying to say. It's not, you can't do anything about it. You can only try so much, and you know, and I'll walk away, like you said. I mean, handle it professionally.
Yeah, I think it's about like.
Go ahead.
I think it's about like accepting it and not like being dragged down because of it, and just let it go, and then like continue whatever you were doing. So
we're too busy, right, to handle this kind of things, right?
Yeah, it's about like really like being, come on, you know what? I'm a businesswoman and I'm an entrepreneur or whatever you are, and just like, come on, you know, just tell them to go somewhere else and bug someone else, or like usually what I find, it's always like, it's not you, but it's the other person, that they maybe have some struggles and some issues with themselves, self-worth. And that's most of the time when they try to let it out to someone else. So it's...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
it's like maybe feeling, maybe not sorry for them, but just being compassionate and be understanding, even if you are able to do that. And that's also where like mindset works come in. I mean, if you have a strong mindset and really work on this, you are so chilled, like in your own space, that maybe even you get annoyed for a few seconds, but, or even like maybe you like, if you are working at home, you kind of scream a bit or whatever, and then after a few seconds it's already gone, and you can just continue with your own stuff.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I mean, you know, we wanted to encourage everybody to practice empathy. Empathy is like a big thing right now, and everybody can practice that starting now, you know. Where, like you said, handling it in a situation like that, perhaps it's not just you. I mean, you know, it's not you. And he is having a problem with himself, maybe having a problem at home, maybe probably having a problem, you know, with internal struggles, and at home, family, his wife, something like that, and lashing out on you, perhaps approaching it. But if it doesn't work, then, you know, like I said earlier, I mean, you know, I don't mean it to sound so harsh, like, you know, just go and go, but you want to see what's going on first, by practicing empathy. And then if it doesn't work, and it might not be your battle, it may not be your, you know, something that you can battle in that kind of situation, then you need to step away and, you know, let him breathe, right? Just like I was in a relationship too. Like in a relationship, when you are in a disagreement, and by the way, it is okay to disagree. I just want to insert that. It is okay to disagree and you know, and voice your opinion. We all do. All of us disagree. You know, that's why we have this opinion, First Amendment, right? The right to free speech, the right to say something, the right to speak up. There are people who don't want to speak up. That's their choice. It's okay. You got to respect that. It's, again, based on empathy, based on kindness, instead of the other opposite things, which is hate, which is, you know, aggression, things like that. So, you know, I think the world right now, currently, where it stands, you know, with the chaos, with the things that humanity ourselves create, it is ourselves, you know. I mean, we have the COVID-19 already. That's unprecedented disaster. It is a man-made disaster. We know that. But what do we want? Why do we want to add on to the fuel this to the fire? By creating this kind of things. Yes, we hear you. Yes, we are empathetic about it. Yes, we will address that. But the additional rage, the additional hate, the additional attacks are not really necessary. I think all of us here are suffering from that pain. I think it takes two, right, to come in between, to meet in that halfway, where we say, hey, you know what, we understand, we get it, we hear you. But if the other one doesn't want to work with it, and that is a problem. And I think the world doesn't need that right now. The world needs empathy. The world needs kindness. The world needs more of that. More people like you, also, spiritual healer. Boy, do we ever need that, right? And I'm hearing that it's going to be a booming business. It already has a booming business industry, right? And it's never going to go away. It will go increase more in the next 5 years. I hear more $1 billion industry. That's just to show you, people are looking for answers. People are battling their own internal struggles. Whether you are successful, whether you're just starting a business, whether you are, a nobody, whether you're a famous person, everybody, because we are going through the same things. Flat out right? We are going through the same thing. We also have the same 24 hours a day. We also live in the same space called Earth, and a lot of us trying to find answers, a lot of us trying to come up with solutions, I think this is a time right now when we should sit down, reflect. We're not here alone. We're here together, collectively, right? I think that's how, some of the things that I just want to address is the empathy. Empathy is so lacking right now. By empathy, I'm meaning, picture yourself, in how they feel. For example, I want to give you a quick example, and it's on your floor again. I'm passing out the microphone baton to you back again. But for example, I used to work I had my own office, 16th floor, way back when I was still young, and still smart. I had my PA, personal assistant, working for me, and occasionally she always gives me problems and things like that, right? And one day, instead of, okay, this is what empathy, it's not empathy look like. She'll come in and I'll say something like this, which I didn't, by the way, but I'm just showing you this is what empathy doesn't look like this. She'll come in and she goes like, well, I want, I'm sorry, let me go back. She's having a problem, let's say, right? Lacking of everything, coming late, missing days out of the week, calling sick all the time, calling Mondays and Fridays sick, by the way. So go figure. Monday she's sick, Friday she's sick. She only works 3 days a week. All right. So she'll come in. I'll ask her to come into my office, and I say, if you don't do this, you're gonna get this. If you don't come in on Monday or Friday, we're gonna have to do something about you, right? What makes you think how she would feel when she goes home that day? Do you really think that she's gonna come into work and feeling like she's, I don't know, not motivated anymore, right, to go to work? She's gonna be scared to go to work, or things like whatever, like, well, should I want to go to work? She's already gonna be, my boss is already gonna reprimand me anyway. What empathy looks like is like this. This is exactly what I did with her. I sit down, I go, hey, Ivy, I want to sit down with you. Why don't you come in? And she'll come in, down, head down and everything. I say, hey, what's going on? What's going on in the last couple of weeks? Tell me. You want to share it with me? That's empathy. I'm just saying that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think especially compassion is really important. And I think it's what I wish everyone would learn. And even
it can be taught.
yeah, I wish everyone would already got it teached and I got it taught, and they would like really learn it already in school or by their parents to be taught about that. And what I find really interesting is what I actually like discovered when I went through my mindfulness coaching certificate to become a mindfulness therapist is they're like two different things, like empathy and compassion. Like nowadays, I love to use the word compassion even more than empathy, because like
Yes.
the let's say problem with empathy is like you really feel with a person. So if someone is really sad, you start to feel sad as well, and that's where a problem can start. Because if you are, let's say, a coach and you are really like an empath and really empathetic, it's where it starts that if someone is sad, you also start feeling sad, and then it's hard to help the person. When you are compassionate, it's like you kind of can like you kind of know how this person feels, but you are not totally emotionally attached to the person. So it's like you can still like think and support and guide the person. So it's like also like compassionate listening. It's where this comes in. For example, I think like it's so sad, I think, that so many people don't know anything about like even compassionate listening. I mean, sometimes I coach people and they're only like, they're so thankful and so like they have such big shifts just because I let them speak and I listen to them, and I don't judge them. So that's being compassionate and like really going in there with love and showing them that they are perfect and great as they are, instead of like, if you are a coach or if you are a parent or if you're a boss, just pointing out the problems. But I mean, that's not compassionate. It's just what someone makes them feel even more bad. So it's only gets worse. And then instead, like, more trying to figure out where it started from, where it came from, and how the person really feels like, and kind of what went, let's say, wrong in the first place, instead of like only pointing out what's all going wrong, and really be more a compassionate listener instead of like judging too quickly. And it's also like one of like the entrepreneurs I really like admire. It's like in Germany there's a really amazing entrepreneur, and he also wrote a book about leading with love, because it's like really important to like lead with love instead of with like, let's say, with hate, or pointing out only things that are bad, instead of like also motivating and empowering others and show them what is working, and then figuring out all the other things by just sitting there and talk to a person and be compassionate, instead of like you said, even in your example, like the difference, how it makes how you speak to a person and what questions you ask, and instead of like demanding stuff and just saying something, really asking a question.
Exactly. You know, I think I caught her by surprise. I mean, she knows me already because she has worked with me for a few years, but not speaking up and afraid of speaking up. And then, you know, what happened was that she was having a problem with her boyfriend. And, you know, of course, that's typical, that's classic. And she doesn't want to say anything, she shut down. So by a woman-to-woman talk behind the closed door, and then, you know, I invite her also to take her out to lunch. So that way is, because I told her that this is, you're not, I am speaking not from the boss point of view, I'm speaking as a friend. So that way I welcome that, you know, so I'm not, she doesn't think that I'm judging or anything like that. So that's the kind of compassion, like you said, listening empathetically, listening to her problem, really hearing her, you know, woman issue, and then, you know, she doesn't have anywhere to go. So by something that are authoritative, she thinks I am, but, you know, I said, no, I'm not your boss. This is just a friend. Let's go out to lunch. Let's just take about an hour right now. Let's forget about everything. Let's talk about this and try to, make you feel good and everything like this, and however way that I can help you. I think that's the thing that I can offer, but that the rest is obviously she's gonna have to do her part, And after that talk, just so you know, the result is phenomenal. I mean, she came up the next morning and then she addressed the issue that was addressed, and she knows that I have listened to her issue and handled it the way that it may be right. There's no right or wrong in this kind of situation, but she felt very comfortable.
And she felt supported.
Exactly. And she felt very comfortable. She felt very secure, very safe. And she felt very close to me now. And I'm opening up the door that, hey, you know what? It's an open door policy. If you have a problem, you can always welcome to be here. Because think about this, and I want to mention this, and then I'll give it back to you again. We work together, like you said, employer-employee relationship, right? We spend so much during the daytime. In fact, we spend the whole day in the same space with them, right? We interact with them. We're talking about 8 hours, 9 hours in a day, right? Monday through Friday. Just how many is that? How many hours is that during the day? In fact, I have a segment talking in my podcast talking just about that, spending so much time in a space together at work. It is a relationship as well. You gotta have to lead, and you gotta have to, utilize your skills as well, your speaking skills, your communication skills, your, personality skills, all of this. Amongst your co-workers, or you have a relationship between your boss and subordinate and your employee, you gotta have to utilize those skills. There's always room to grow. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, and it is okay to make mistakes. It is okay. It is okay to learn from your mistakes, obviously, and improve yourself. No one is perfect, but one of the rules is that one of the things that we may want to take from this as a takeaway is use your mindset as the anchor, obviously, and then use your mindfulness, you're a life coach in this, right? Use your heart, love, to lead, to talk, and to speak, to communicate to others. Like I said, we're all in this together. We share the same space. I only have this little space on Earth. When you really think about it, it's like this little thing. You gotta have to respect others, around us and everything. So, all right, looks like we're running out of time. And one last thought, and how can we reach you, the listeners out there listening, and how can we reach you? And you obviously have a very solid business online. If you are still, accepting, new clients, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so the best way to reach me is with my website. So it's www.lisa-evaluee.com, so my name. Or you can also find me on Instagram, also with my name, @LisaEvaluee. You can also find me on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, but my main channels are definitely my Instagram, where you can reach me best and where I post most. And then I also have my own podcast, which is called Rocking Female Entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's great. You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a new one. I started it like 2 months ago.
Oh, great. I got to listen to it. I have to listen to it. Yeah, I would love to listen to it. And we can probably collab on this podcast too. All right, so one last thought. Your last thought on this. For all those business women owners, or men or women out there going through the pandemic challenges and everything, what are your best tips that you can share with them?
Yeah, so if you are an entrepreneur or even solopreneur, first of all, we talked about it so much in this episode. It's really the mindset work, and also even if you haven't started already, maybe just get familiar with it and try to be open-minded for the tools that can really help you. And also what I find really important is to just trust, like start trusting yourself. And by mindset work, by taking more time for yourself, it's also where your intuition comes in. So I'm really an intuitive person, and usually when I feel it's wrong, maybe it's wrong to do this business partnership or something, I usually feel it already, and then I don't do it. And it's really like start trusting your intuition more. And the more you really like do the mindset work, the easier it gets to start your intuition. And usually, like if something isn't 100% aligned to yourself, like it doesn't match your values, then I would just say no, because like at the end, it's just coming back at you at some point where you are like, yeah, okay, but I wouldn't have done that. And then also, if you are struggling and if you're really busy, if you are overworked, or if you don't know how to reach your next goal, then really don't be afraid to ask for help. And also, like whether it's a coach or a mentor, or whether it's even an employee. I mean, I know so many out there are afraid of hiring because they think they might not find the right person, or they had bad experiences. But I mean, you definitely can manage, and you are able to find your employee you would love to have. And from what I experienced is like over the last few years, like when we started, we were like really like looking for someone to hire, but we hired way too late. I mean, if there's a point where you are really busy and you are stuck, you won't be able to hit your next step, and also you are really busy, like just ask for help, like get a mentor, also hire people, get them in your team. And like what we said, also like start leading with love and be compassionate. And I think it's really important as a leader, as a solopreneur, as a coach, to also really learn more about self-compassion, about spiritual work, because it's how we are becoming better leaders, and it's how we are able to support others even more. And I think that's what a business is supposed to be about, like helping and supporting others and getting whatever the result is you can give them. But it's not only about you. I mean, you have the chance to build your freedom and your dream life with being an entrepreneur, but it shouldn't be like the first step. So like the first step, I think, should be about being compassionate and wanting to help and serve others.
That's very, very good. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed speaking with you. I think that's great. What you're doing is great in helping others. Of course, we women, we're always the catalyst for change, right? I think we are the catalyst for change. I think that's never going to change. It's always going to be. I mean, we need more women, spiritual healers. And, yeah, it's very true. I mean, think about it. I mean, what's the percentage out there? Coaches and everything. I bet you it falls under the women category. All right. Well, very good. And we have your contact information. And any future plans after this, really quickly?
Yeah, well, future plans. So, like, first of all, like in private, we are moving again, but inside of Portugal. So we are going to move in a couple of months. We are going to move south. Like at the moment, we are like more in the north of Portugal, and we are like really people who love the warmth, and we love snorkeling. So we are going to move.
I remember you.
Yeah, yeah. So we are going to move to the Algarve in the south, and otherwise, like, I have really cool plans with my business, with my coaching business. I'm going to launch a masterclass soon, which is called 10x Your Income, Impact and Freedom.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then I really look forward to launching this. And with our company, where we have lots of cool stuff planned. Like for ourselves, we are going to meet all of us, the whole team. We are going to get all of them to Portugal, since we are working with from Portugal, then Germany, and sometimes Lithuania, because we have some people moving like from there to here. So we are going to get all our team together, and we have like a really cool team week and doing fun stuff together. And then soon, I don't know when exactly, but we are going to launch our company not only in Europe but worldwide. So we are going internationally. I mean, as a coach, I am internationally already, and then the company is also going to come internationally.
Great. Big congratulations.
So I really look forward to this. And yeah, another really great thing is like we are now like sponsoring and donating a percentage of our sales, of our income, to two projects I really love. And like one is Plant for the Planet. So we are going to have planting trees. And also another thing is about, it's called Shark Project. So we are going to support this company, and they're all about sustainability and ocean protection. So that's something I really look forward to.
I think that's part of also the core of responsibility of any company. I think you're doing it great. You're doing it right. Every company should look into that and should have some kind of engagement to corporate, or company responsibility and the social changes and social impacts. I think you're doing great, Lisa. All around, I think you're doing what your passion. I mean, you have shifted from here to there and then moving along. God, you're so busy. You're so busy. But you're doing it right. And then I really thank you for joining us here. And then I know that in your Portugal community, I mean, people are still ordered to stay home, or have they been going back to businesses yet?
It's pretty much way back to normal. Well, Portugal, I think they handled it really great, because here everything got locked up pretty quickly. So the virus wasn't able to spread as bad as, like, for example, in Spain or Italy, luckily. Slowly, everything is back to normal. So we don't need to stay at home anymore since a couple of weeks already. And since about 15 days, the restaurants were able to open again. If we go in a shop or in a restaurant, we still need to wear a mask, but otherwise we can move around freely, luckily. And from yesterday, the flights within Europe, they also opened up again.
Okay.
So yeah, in Europe, everything is pretty much going back more and more to normal. Or the new normal, whatever normal is.
Normal is, I was going to say, whatever normal is, right? It has transformed to a new normal. All right. Well, again, thank you so very much for all of your insights, and thank you so very much for sharing your journey and our experiences and everything like that throughout this interesting time that we're in. And I really would like to hear back from you in a few months. I know that I invited you the first time last year, and I think you've gone so far away now. Even further, very, very positive things, impacts that you are doing. And glad to hear that you're doing also donating some of the percentages of the sales to something that's very, very impactful for sustainability in your area. So congratulations, in advance for the everything that you've done already, and then congratulations also, for the launching that's coming up, and big wishing you luck, biggest luck, of course, moving again. So hopefully that you're gonna stay there for a while, right? So
yeah, sure. Yeah, we intend to buy there.
Yeah. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. So in the meantime, stay vigilant and stay safe. I'd like to invite you back again in a few months, perhaps at the end of the year, this year, to check up back with you again, what's going on in Portugal. All right. Thank you so much, Lisa, and enjoy the rest of the week, okay?
Thank you very much. I love being on your show again, and I really love this interview. I think you're asking really, really beautiful and deep questions. And yeah, so thank you very much.